They wanted to keep the man out of the Hall of Fame so bad they changed the rules because the bylaw says we're not to take any character issues or any off-the-field issues, which this man had no off-the-field issues. They said, you know what we're going to do now? If it happened on the sideline, if it happened in the locker room, that also will weigh in how we judge the player to get into the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Now, we got some guys that's in the Hall of Fame. We know what they've done. I don't really need to mention any of those names, but they're there. So we know. You tell me the sport, any sport, that the guy finished second in maybe scoring, or second in home runs, or he was second in assists, or second in steals, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. He had to wait. What's this? Wait, he needs to wait. In the 98-year history of the NFL, there have been 3 men that's been first-team All-Pro on 3 different teams. Ted Hendricks, first-team, first ballot Hall of Famer. Deion Sanders, first ballot Hall of Famer. And this man immediate to my right. He got to wait 3 times. Now, I'm interesting to see because I heard, and I know Jim Trotter very well, but I talked to some guys that were in that room, and it got downright contentious. It almost came off as hatred toward this man. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Okay, so how do you feel about Randy Moss?
Randy he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Randy should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he did say, I play when I want to.
He did.
And given the choice, and I've said this before, I'm not saying this because they know me. I don't bite my tongue.
There you go.
I said if you gave me a choice, I would take T.O. Because you know what? I know every Sunday I'm going to get everything he got.
That's
Run,
a fact.
play, pass, play, it doesn't matter. He going to give it to me. Turn the tape on. The man told you he played when he want to. There are times he walked off the ball when he wouldn't get it. Run, play, he walking off the ball. Hey, speak for itself. This man numbers says he should have. Forget it. Okay, I'm gonna put his name. His name is Matthew Johnson, and I'm gonna give you these numbers right here, and you tell me if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I would say Matthew would be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm done with it.
It's funny you say that. You said that anybody who end up second, and the thing is, I wound up second behind Walter Payton, and I was a first ballot Hall of Famer. But a sports writer told me, he came out, he said, Eric, I got something to tell you. He said, you were a unanimous decision, but one guy wouldn't vote for you. He said he wouldn't vote for you, but you know why? I said, no, why? He said, because you held out. He said, no, that didn't make sense to me. See, it shows that biases that you talk about. I mean, look, and I said this all along. Here's a guy that played in the Super Bowl 39, with a broke leg against a very good Patriots defense. Now, you don't play if you don't care.
He's the best player on the field.
With a broke, he had 122 yards, I think 9 catches for 122 yards. And I'm not here to say that, the toot his horn, but you don't have to. It is what it is. I mean, you got certain guys, I always say, we're not talking about the battle. I've been in the battle. You know who can play. As a player, you know who can play. You know who can play. I mean, look over there and say, okay, we go to the film room. Okay.
Say it again. You go where?
You go to the film room.
Okay.
Hey, look, don't let this guy wind up in our backfield. Or don't let this guy wind up out there by himself. Double cover him. I mean, so it's just, it almost puts a black mark on the Hall of Fame voters who make these decisions because they don't, and it comes down to, they don't like you. I mean, now I got to say this too. My cousin, Dexter Manley. You know Dexter Manley.
Do.
Dexter Manley deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You can say he had drug problems, my friend LT had drug problems.
Yeah.
And they asked me, should LT be in the Hall of Fame? I'm like, you sound like a fool. Most definitely he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I tell you what, watch the tape. But they say in the bylaws, in the original bylaws of the Hall of Fame voting, off the field issues should not weigh in. You're talking about what did the guy do between that 53 by 110? What did he do? Can you tell the NFL story without the guy that has 150 plus touchdowns, 15 plus thousand yards, over 1,000 catches? How do you tell that? He was the best. Think about it. When was T.O. not the best player on his team?
When he retired, he's still the best player. So there you go. All right, Skip.
Mr. Owens, what do you think?
About what?
Randy Moss.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, based on my numbers, and as he said, I mean, the bylaws are what they are. I mean, I'm not going to get on here and try to advocate for what I've said all along. I feel like my numbers speak for themselves. I mean, I've said it from day one. It is what it is. If you want to look at the character issues, all right, cool. I know who I am as a person.
Okay, but because you have been held out, so what are we up to? I'm lost.
Just 3
3 years. Should Randy Moss be held out at least one time?
It's not my decision.
What's your gut? What's your opinion?
Based on what I've been held out for, why wouldn't they?
I agree with that. So let me do the big picture here, because I went back last night and looked hard at this. And to your point, who'd you call him, Matthew Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, if you showed me Bob Smith's resume and it was actually Randy Moss's resume, and I put it up against Matthew Johnson's, man, they're pretty close.
Yeah.
They're like scary close, because you were a little later bloomer than he was.
Oh, yeah,
you were a little
absolutely.
bit in Jerry Rice's shadow out of UT Chattanooga.
Right, yeah.
And obviously Randy Moss, did he not hit the ground
Oh,
running?
Randy is a freak of
Whew,
nature.
he was a freak of nature right away as a rookie.
Right.
And he sort of, can we use the word revolutionize the deep pass in the National Football League as a rookie? And remember, he wanted Dallas to draft him. Remember what he did to Dallas on Thanksgiving Day that year?
5 catches, 3
1998?
touchdowns.
Whew. Yeah. So then when you exploded, you had some good years early, but when the Jeff Garcia sort of era started, you had those 3 years that were just monster years that, to me, those 3 are, I can put them up against any 3, like Randy's first 3 years in Minnesota, sensational years. And then each of you, ironically, had another, like a bounce back year. Obviously, Randy Moss was in 2007 with Tom Brady when he had 23 touchdowns, 1,493 yards. But when you got to Dallas with Tony Romo, these numbers are staggering to me, and it was the same year, and you actually got overshadowed by the year that Randy was having with Brady. Because you and Romo, you rocked that world, man. That was 1355. You only had 15 touchdowns, but in any other year, 15 might have led the league, right? And yet your yards per catch in Dallas in 07 were beyond Randy's with Tom Brady, 16.7 a catch to 15.2 a catch. So both of you played in one Super Bowl, didn't win the Super Bowl, but just 1-1.
Right.
And then 6 Pro Bowls for this man, 6 for Randy Moss, but this man had 5 first-team All-Pros to Randy's 4 first-team All-Pros, which is pretty low for Randy Moss to only make first-team 4 times. Okay, so let's go off the field, because we're going to have to do this because it's going to come up. So I'm not piling on here. I'm just restating the facts about Randy Moss. Remember, he had a big incident driving downtown in Minneapolis in which he, with his car, bumped into a traffic officer and got arrested, and they found marijuana in the car, and he had several marijuana incidents during his NFL career. He had a domestic abuse incident. It came and it went, but he did have one, and it happened. And then, to your point, he often admitted he played when he wanted to or took plays off. And to your point, I got to reiterate, this man, he was the opposite of taking plays off. I've never seen anybody play harder, play after play, played with anger, played mad, which is a good thing. And then, remember, Randy walked off the field before a game was over when they were barely losing.
Washington.
Yeah, we got that. He mooned. I didn't have
that was in Green Bay,
but it happened. He squirted a ref with a water bottle because he was mad at him, and he bumped another referee and got fined for that. He verbally abused an entire busload of corporate sponsors on the way back from a practice. Do you remember this? And then a very
that's what got him out of Minnesota, I think.
Well, then the next one was a very popular Minnesota restaurateur that a lot of the players patronized his restaurant, served a big spread post-practice, and Randy said loudly to everybody listening, "I wouldn't feed this to my dog. Why are we eating this?" And that got him waived by the Vikings, okay? And then, obviously, he goes to Oakland, and he basically just kind of shut it down a little bit. I don't know, he didn't even seem to try in Oakland. Then he had the magic year with Belichick and Brady, and then it started.
He had a couple of two.
They were okay. They were okay, but it faded a little bit after that. And then that 4th game of the year at Miami, he had 1 target, no catches, and Bill Belichick said, "See ya," and traded him back to Minnesota. So Bill Belichick basically gave up on him. So that's
that was
the
3
resume.
teams in 1 year, right?
So here's the thing now, because all these writers talk about, he was great, but teams couldn't wait to get rid of T.O. So let me ask you a question. Could Minnesota not wait to get rid of him? What about Oakland? What about New England? What about Minnesota? What about Tennessee?
Well, at the end, it just went boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, he's going to be viewed differently now, Skip. You know why? Because he's in our business.
He's on television.
He's in the media
He's
also.
on television.
So that softened him up, Skip.
Maybe.
Because now Randy, how you doing? Now he comes in contact with them. They view him as a peer in the media business like they are. He will be judged differently than T.O. got judged.
But you know what I always used to hear about Lynn Swann when he was on TV? That a lot of voters didn't like the fact that he was, maybe that's the old days, but
Yes.
they didn't like him on TV because he was too big a deal.
Right.
Like he that was overshadowing his playing career.
Right.
So he got held out
Yes.
for a while.
But I don't believe in that. I don't believe a guy should wait. I don't believe it's you wait, not your turn. Look here. When you look at the man's numbers, you tell me. I thought I knew ED. I watched a lot of tape. And I watched him on tape because we play some of the same teams. I watched Randy on tape. I know all of them. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, I watched them all on tape. I'm telling you, given the choice to have anybody that's on the ballot this year at the wide receiver position, I would take T.O. over anybody else.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.